Is it possible for a mountain to speak and influence our lives?
I'm here at Mount Katahdin in north central Maine in Baxter State Park, a mountain and a park that my family actually donated to the people of Maine to be held forever wild as a public park for mankind to come here in the right unspoiled way, in the words of my uncle, to enjoy the wilderness. He set up a wilderness park so that man and nature could come together and bring their gifts together. We're watching the sunrise on Mount Katahdin in north central Maine. Mount Katahdin's in Baxter State Park, and it is one of the first places to receive the sun in the continental United States.
Katahdin, you see nature behaving as nature should, whether it's gale force winds or whether it's a horrible snowstorm or a rock slide or a mudslide. That is nature doing what nature is supposed to do. It is neither good nor bad, nature just is.
Perhaps I most fully realized that this was primeval, untamed, and forever untamable nature, or whatever else men call it, while coming down this part of the mountain. Henry David Thoreau.
And Katahdin has been revered through the ages by the Wabanaki Indians as a sacred place, as a home of the spirits, as a home of the Creator.
Mount Katahdin is the sacred mountain for the Wabanaki people. All of the people from the tribes in the state of Maine, and perhaps some in New Hampshire and Vermont, and even the ones in Odanak, in the Abenaki in Odanak, which is St. Francis Reserve, they also honor and pray and have ceremonies at Mount Katahdin.
Go visit the mountain if you can. Once you are in the mountain, you'll always return. And if you go by it, say, I'll be back, because sometimes I do. I'll be back, and I go back. Sometimes I do ceremonies, sometimes I just sit there.
And Katahdin also speaks to many who come here. People feel that its slopes speak to them, that its rocks, that the trees here, that the spirits come and speak through the clouds and through the weather and through the winds.
I feel Katahdin is alive in the sense that it has spirit. You can feel its spirit on the trails that you walk, the surrounding terrain of its land. In the wind, you can hear the voices in the wind of Katahdin.
But while they're in the wilderness, they have this kind of a foundational experience, and they're able to see through the appearance of things to the reality and bring that spiritual truth back into the human community and tell people in that community what's real as opposed to what appears to be.
The mountain speaks to each one of us according to our own inner beliefs, whether they're religious or naturalists or whatever they are.
When you come to Katahdin, you feel as though you have these giant arms that are just wrapped around you, and they engulf you with a kind of love and spirituality that you just don't feel anywhere else.
Definitely a moving, living, spiritual piece of my life.
Coming back every year just renews the spirit. It's a place of connection, a connection with good friends, making new friends. But I think the important part is connecting to our spirits.
There's a little plaque here that has some words written by my Uncle Percy about his feelings about Mount Katahdin. When I came here when I was 12 years old with Meadowlark Camp, these were the first words that ever made any sense to me in my lifetime up till then, and I wanted to share them with you. They say, "Man is born to die. His works are short-lived. Buildings crumble, monuments decay, and wealth vanishes. But Katahdin, in all its glory, forever shall remain the mountain of the people of Maine." That Percy was quite a little poet, and those words have inspired me for my entire life. as well as his works and his deeds.
I reconnect with myself as well as, I guess, what I would feel is nature, and I need that annually. I need that reassertion of myself, and it's given to me here, and I treasure it.
And this mountain is a powerful being. People feel it whenever they go near it, and Thoreau had an extraordinary experience on Katahdin.
The Contact Passage and Thoreau's experience on Mount Katahdin.
Thoreau famously stayed at Walden Pond for 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days between 1845 and 1847, almost exactly halfway between the period of time. If you take both ends and meet in the middle, about halfway during Thoreau's stay at the pond, he went to the Maine Woods, his first trip to the Maine Woods, and climbed Mount Katahdin, the highest peak in the state of Maine.
Most of the trees at Walden Pond have been cut down long ago, and the stand of trees that I was living in was very sparse indeed. So I go to Katahdin in the summer of 1846, and I encounter truly a magnificent and wild wilderness. It looked at as if it had been created out of chaos and old night.
This was that earth of which we have heard, made out of chaos and old night. Here was no man's garden but the unhandselled globe. It was not lawn, not pasture, nor mead, nor woodland, nor lea, nor arable, nor wasteland. It was the fresh and natural surface of the planet Earth. Henry David Thoreau.
There were rocks thrown helter-skelter, savage winds, and snow on the top of Katahdin. So it was certainly a force of nature that I had never encountered before in my life.
It was an enormously important experience for him, although I think I would want to qualify that a little bit. Might not have been as important as he certainly later made it important. So what he did was basically, and a writer always asks, what was your feet on the ground, your experience, actual experience at the time, as opposed to what do you later make it? Certainly later, when he came back from his climb of Mount Katahdin, he wrote an essay titled Katahdin, or the Maine Woods, and later sold it to the Union magazine.
And I climbed alone over huge rocks, loosely poised, a mile or more, still edging toward the clouds. For though the day was clear elsewhere, the summit was concealed in mist. The mountain seemed a vast aggregation of loose rocks, as if some time had rained rocks, and they lay as they fell on the mountainsides, nowhere fairly at rest, but leaning on each other, all rocking stones, with cavities between, but scarcely any soil or smoother shelf. Henry David Thoreau.